As the mother of a now 16-year-old.
Who I met backstage, he
did?
He's a great young man.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like The Guardian has not done a good job of protecting my mom. As long as she has people around who are yes people, I know that she's not getting the help that she needs or getting better. She looked confused and she looked skinny.
Oh, I never knew that, so that's why Wendy Williams got fired.
Yes, because she exposed pictures of him having a homosexual affair in Mexico. But she had a website way back then.
I don't feel safe. Clap if you feel safe. Oh. Well.
OMG, you won't believe this shocking tea about Diddy and Wendy Williams. Word on the street is that Diddy threatened Wendy's son Kevin Jr. when he was just 16. Remember that super weird 2017 interview on Wendy's show where Diddy made that creepy comment about meeting her son? Well, honey, with these new lawsuits from 3 men claiming Diddy victimized them at ages 9, 10, and 17, that moment hits different now.
Again, Sean Diddy Combs, and these are some of the most horrific yet. A man says he was just 10 years old when the rapper allegedly drugged and sexually assaulted him during what was supposed to be an audition, sending him back to his parents' crime.
And get this, new reports from federal investigations claim Diddy planned horrible things for Kevin Jr., all to punish Wendy for exposing him. Watch that interview again. You can literally see Wendy's face change when Diddy mentions her son.
As the mother of a now 16-year-old.
Who I met backstage,
he did?
He's a great young man.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You represent a lot to a lot of people in general. I mean, example to people who aren't black, like, yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Since then, Wendy's life has been a total mess. Fainting on TV, frozen bank accounts, guardianship drama, and now dementia, all in just a few years. And isn't it suspicious she lost her show right before these Diddy allegations exploded? Coincidence? I think not.
I've got so much money. I want it for my son. I want to give some love to my son, Kevin. It's me and you, kid.
Listen, this beef goes back to the 90s when Wendy was spilling tea on radio. She had receipts about Diddy's DL lifestyle, including photos from Cancun that would have ended him. But before she could share, he had her fired and blacklisted across New York.
When she put out those pictures of the dude pulling his pants down, and it looked like some gay act that was going on, he got on the phone. He said, let me tell you this. When I get back to New York City, if she's on the radio station, he's talking to a radio executive. When we got back to New York City, Wendy Williams was in Philly at a new station.
Wow.
That's the power he had.
Wendy later confirmed it all on Vlad TV, saying she was burned at the stake for talking about closeted men in hip-hop.
We come from a very homosexual era of hip-hop as well. There was a radio personality once upon a time. Her name was Wendy Williams, and she was practically burned at the stake for talking about such. And now it's all come full circle. There were many situations, none of which to talk about, but there were many situations back in the day in my career, and it's all coming full circle now. So.
But that's not all. An old clip just resurfaced where Wendy claimed Diddy sent a bad boy girl group to jump her at work.
Yeah.
I remember I got off the air one day and them total were downstairs waiting, and everybody upstairs at the radio station is looking down, egging it on, waiting for something to go down. I wasn't yet married. My knight in shining armor screeched up in his car just out of nowhere. I didn't even know what was about to happen.
Then Jaguar Wright jumped in to remind everyone that Wendy was the first to expose these homo thugs in the industry. And she suggested Diddy set Wendy up just like he allegedly did Kim Porter.
Was that
Shout out to Wendy Williams, the first woman to uncover the homo thugs. That's what these down low bitches was called when Wendy first started talking about it in the 90s, the homo thug. She talking about Diddy.
And then what's the stuff that's happening with Wendy Williams? Do you think this is all connection too?
Of course. They've been waiting. He's been waiting. He was waiting for Kim. Remember? He was waiting. The casket was ready. She was literally casket ready.
See, Wendy wasn't just gossiping. She had inside tea about Diddy's alleged crimes, including that 99 nightclub where he supposedly set up Shine to take the fall.
Ran out of the club so fast and got into the waiting SUV that it wasn't until he got into the truck that he realized that he left Jennifer behind, along with his bodyguard, Anthony Wolf. He just like ran. You know, forget it. That's a true sign of an itch bag, by the way. You know, leaving his
I thought it was an unk pay.
Well, eventually, Jennifer and Wolf made their way to the SUV without Puffy.
Right.
They ran 11 lights to elude the cops. Supposedly it was Puffy, although people are saying they saw a female hand tossing a gun out the window. And then when the cops stopped them, they found a second gun, of course, in the car.
Right.
All four of the occupants, the driver, the bodyguard, Puffy, and Jennifer, were handcuffed and taken down to the precinct. And eventually, Puffy and his bodyguard, Wolf, were overheard talking about their plot to bribe the driver to take the rap for the gun. And Puffy was overheard saying, and I quote, because the prosecutor said this, "I can't go to jail, I'm Puff Daddy." Well,
once Wendy hit TV, Diddy became her favorite topic to expose.
okay, he was arrested with a deadly weapon and making terroristic threats.
She especially went in about Cassie and Diddy's relationship, always dropping hints something was seriously wrong.
Cassie, 8 years wasted, no baby.
3 years before Cassie escaped Diddy, Wendy was already warning us about his controlling behavior. Back in 2015, when Cassie fled to South Africa, Wendy suggested on her show that Cassie must have been terrified knowing Diddy could track her anywhere.
I know I pissed a lot of people off, including you. But this is a full circle moment, everybody. Get into adult conversation.
Then, in 2017, right before Cassie finally got away, Diddy showed up on Wendy's show acting all friendly. But now we know better.
Hey, it's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
And I want to just tell you how proud I am of you. Because I don't think you get enough credit for being the first one to really cover our culture. You know, hip-hop culture and also hip-hop celebrities and just understanding that it's news, not just saying that's all that you cover, but you started shedding light on our culture and our people, and thank you very much.
Watch that interview again. It looks like he was secretly warning Wendy to stay quiet. And when he mentioned Kevin Jr., the tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife.
Of a now 16-year-old.
Who I met backstage, he
did?
He's a great young man.
Oh, thank you. You represent a lot to a lot of people in general. I mean,
people think that Diddy said this to intimidate her because, I mean, we all know Wendy knew a lot about what was going on in Hollywood. If you haven't watched this interview, I suggest you do, because I couldn't believe how much Diddy was lying throughout this entire video. He was actually dating Cassie during this time, and when he was asked about his relationship with her, he made it seem like they had a perfect relationship and that he really loved her. During this interview, she also asks him about Biggie's death and if he feels responsible, and this is what he said.
Do you ever feel responsible in any way? In any way?
I mean, the thing that I think I always feel some sort of, you know, responsibility because I'm in this thing with him. You know what I'm saying? He's my artist, and he was supposed to go to London that night. And, you know, I let him talk me into, you know, not going to London and staying in LA. And that, you know, that's something that really bothered me, you know, throughout my life, is sometimes you have to really go with that decision in your gut. And in my gut, I was like, you need to get on the plane. But sometimes when you don't listen to your gut, you know, and this is God's world, you know, it's his plan.
But if you go and check out Gene Deal's interviews, he was Diddy's former bodyguard back in the day, and he was there when Biggie died. And he says that Diddy was responsible.
And speaking of responsibility, Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard who was there when Biggie died, spilled major tea saying Diddy was behind it all. Looking at everything that happened to Wendy after that interview, it's making us all wonder, did Diddy have something to do with her health crisis? And y'all, wait till you hear what Kevin Jr. said about people taking advantage of his mom. He told The Sun that some people on Wendy's team were pushing her to drink and making her sign contracts while she wasn't in her right mind. In June 2023, he said, if they aren't providing it, they're definitely enabling it. Here's where it gets soup. In January 2022, Wells Fargo froze all Wendy's accounts, calling her an incapacitated person. They wanted a financial guardian appointed, but Wendy's lawyer exposed that her former advisor, Lori Schiller, was lying about Wendy's condition for revenge after being fired.
Wendy went to Wells Fargo and said, I'm closing my accounts because I think you're colluding with my business manager to steal from me. Y'all, just stay with me. Instead of investigating these claims, one, Wells Fargo sued to gain financial conservatorship over her by calling her crazy, and they won. Do y'all not realize how crazy that is? And what does that mean for everybody else who banks with any of these big companies?
And when I began asking questions about my money, suddenly Lori Schiller has got no response regarding my money. I want my money. This is not fair. And Wells Fargo has no questions and answers with regarding my money. This is not fair. And Lori Schiller and Wells Fargo have this guardianship petition about keeping me away from my money. This is not right.
Despite Wendy fighting back, the court sided with Wells Fargo and appointed Sabrina Morrissey as her guardian. The first thing Sabrina did, cut off Kevin Jr., even though Wendy always said everything was for her son.
Asked, would I consider being guardian? I said, I don't know what being a guardian involves. I was told that it involved taking some kind of class. You know, I said, yeah, I'll do it. I said, whatever I gotta do. And that, you know, I'll be focused on Wendy's health. And then all of a sudden, the wall came down and there was nothing. Now, why that happened, I don't know.
And get this, they refused to let Wendy's sister Wanda be her guardian. Now fans are connecting the dots, thinking Diddy pulled strings to get Wendy under Sabrina's control. But wait, it gets worse. The feds just dropped shocking evidence claiming Diddy tried to have Wendy taken out multiple times. When that failed, he allegedly arranged something even more horrific to teach her a lesson for exposing him. Then there's all this tea about Bad Boy Records and how Diddy allegedly controlled everything. Y'all remember that club with Shine in '99? According to his bodyguard, Diddy paid witnesses to testify against Shine.
Those people were testifying, they were brought to Puff first, saying that what they saw against Shine, what they saw Shine do. The DA didn't even know those people existed. You understand what I'm saying? Sean said it himself.
Let's solve that for you.
Well, Missy was out there. She was messing with the dude from EPMD. That's why Puff.
And speaking of control, the story about Misa Hilton is wild. Diddy denied being Justin's father while allegedly mistreating Misa. The audacity.
Puff got one of the hottest DJs off of Hot 97. Because she wanted to put up a picture of him.
There was a radio personality once upon a time. Her name was Wendy Williams. And she was practically burned at the stake for talking about such.
Wendy's ex-husband Kevin also spilled about how Diddy nearly destroyed her career.
Is it true that Diddy got her fired from the radio station? Did he have anything to do with that?
I think that he had
Yes, I think he got. Well, let's be clear. Nobody got fired.
Okay.
He got suspended.
Okay.
Yeah. Did he use his influence and power with Steve Smith and them at the time, and God knows whatever his relationship was with the overall station, because Bad Boy was a powerhouse. We all know how Bad Boy dominated a large part of the 90s. And as far as New York, there was a powerhouse. So was he, King Joffrey Joe? Yeah. Did he go in there and shake him up and say, yo, I want this chick off. She's dissing my group and all kinds of shit. Yeah.
Diddy. The real T. Wendy used to support Diddy back in '91 when that tragic charity basketball game happened. But the moment she started exposing his deals, he turned on her faster than you can say bad boy.
To all his artists, when he gave them their publishing back. I'm gonna give y'all publishing, but y'all can't talk about Janice Combs, Justin Combs, Sony, Bad Boy, or anything that happened. Y'all can't talk about none of that.
Now we know why none of his former artists are talking. Those NDAS, he made them sign when giving back their masters. But some, like Mace, weren't having it.
Mace thing, I did one album with Mace. One album. How much money do you think I owe this guy? One album, and then he became a fake pastor and went and conned people.
And Cassie? Chili, let me tell you about that breakup in 2018. Wendy saw right through Diddy's romantic pleas to get her back.
I suggest don't use social media, though, to reach out. I think this was a grand overture from Puffy. I don't believe he really wants her back. I believe he probably treated her at some particular point like a possession. Like a possession. And if you really care, then you'd reach out privately, not publicly.
The lawsuit proved Wendy right. Cassie couldn't hide anywhere without Diddy finding her. Now fans are saying things like, Diddy needs to be under the jail, and they messed Wendy up because she wasn't afraid to expose Hollywood. Just imagine Wendy at home right now, watching all this unfold after trying to warn us for decades. Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to check out our next video.